All right, guys, let's take a look at this. Of course, I didn't mark all the fishing zone completely. Just needed some points that we need to talk about in terms of this assignment. New Zealand US dollar, New Zealand dollar, US dollar, NZD That's what we're looking at now. Just in trying to discuss that assignment properly. All right, so this is what we're doing. Now, the trend line started off from here. We'll use this point and this point, for instance, to draw the trend line. All right, and this is the point that was made on that trend line after breakout and retest. All right, that zone. So the question, or rather, I asked this to be interpreted. How would you have interpreted this futuristically? So at the end of the day, it was only two close answers, but I want to talk about the interpretation before we discuss further things about this trend. I remember it's one of you that sent this, use this as an assignment, and I begin to ask questions about it. Then I later throw it open to all everyone to actually talk about it. So first, let's look at the futuristic interpretation. What are you expected to do in terms of interpreting the? It's very simple. The simple thing you are supposed to do is to identify. Okay, remember, as a trader, you are looking at your chart and you want to start making decision based on what the market is doing. So immediately this point, the first point was actually formed. All right, this high. Of course, you wouldn't know whether you are going to be talking about trend line or not. If there is anything you would be talking about, you'll be looking out for drawing a resistance zone using these two areas. This would have been point of resistance, right? So, but then after that, you noticed something happened. Something happened here. And looking at it as immediately this high formed here. Of course, this one is not okay because it will be steeping too much, sloping down steeply. So this wouldn't be the right thing, the right place to be considering as a trend line. But immediately the second one formed, which is this one here. That is when you'll be considering the trend line to be drawn. All right. If you had done that, what would have been the case? It means that you would have joined this point and extend it just the way, just considering to extend it to this point. All right. Extend it however you want to. Extended it. All right. So you are waiting for the test, of course, to retest and reversal or breakout and retest. So here, for instance, at this point, you probably will be looking for, after drawing, because this is the second point of the trend line. Okay, let's assume that this has also happened. You can see these two are joined together. We'll come back and talk about here. But let's assume the two has happened, for instance. It means that this will be the point you'll be looking for to see if any action can happen in terms of retesting the trend line. All right, these are but you can see that nothing happened there. Nothing actually happened there. All right. So in those places, all right, as you are watching for a breakout and retest, then for our intersection point, when the market was here, you'll be watching, as we being there's a breakout, you'll be watching if it's going to retest this zone. All right. You'll be watching out whether it's going to retest this intersection zone. All right, or it's going to retest this intersection zone. All right, or it's going to retest this intersection zone. All right, these are the points you'll be watching for a breakout and retest. All right. All right. So these are the things you'll be looking at. All right. So now let's now talk about it. So when I say reinterpreting, what I expected you to tell me is that you would have taken note of this point and use it immediately as a form to pinch your trend line. All right. You pinch your trend line and extend it. Then you are watching for a breakout and retest, or a retest and reversal. That's what you'll be watching out. Now, at this point, when market get to this point, you keep watching. Remember, you are watching for either breakout and retest, and you particularly be paying attention if any of the intersection zone will be either retested or breakout and retested. Those are the things to be watching out for. All right. So having drawn this, all right, having taken a look at this, first of all, you are going to start by telling me your trend line, that you use these 2 points, this first point and this second point, to take your trend line. And if this third point has happened, you would have told me that you use it to take your trend line. These are the places you use in taking your trend line. So after you have done that, you are now watching for a retest, and you particularly paying attention, retest of the trend line, I particularly pay attention to retest of point of intersection as well. That is your key interest because of what will happen if that happens. All right. For the point of intersection, you are waiting for it. All right. That's this is what you are waiting for to take the kind of trade that you are looking for. Talking about in the one that hit intersection. And again, you're also waiting for a breakout. If it breaks out, starting from this point where you mark your trend line, I mean, the 2 points you use in marking your trend line, meaning that you are watching out for. There's a breakout above the trend line. You're also watching out for a retest of that point. All right. You're watching it. So you show me all these places that's where you're watching out for, in case of when after it has broken out, whether it's coming back to retest the intersection of the trend line and support and resistance has been marked. And that eventually you spot it happened here. You spot it what happened here. You spotted it happen here. So when that happened, you would use a candlestick reversal pattern to take your trade. Nobody is asking you to go to 1 minute. We are not dealing with go to 1 minute. I told you guys that I'm talking about this. We are practicing, and you need to understand how to take the trade first from the time frame before we begin to talk. We did not refine zone to lower time frame. We have not refined that. We're not doing that yet. We're not talking about sniper entry yet. Guys, I'm talking about sniper entries here. I'm talking about, first of all, identify how you would have taken it in the higher time frame. Later on, where you mark them, and then later on we discuss when we talk about refining zones, and then you get it better. All right. So at this point, if you told me that immediately you see the bullish engulfing, that's what some of you said, that among those 2 people that actually got it correctly, like that. I'm not saying they discuss everything I'm discussing now. This one, what they tried, they did well. So after that, you are taking your trade from here. And if you are taking your trade, you are certainly going to leave your SL both below, trying to leave it below the point of intersection. And you can look to your left and see whether you have a low there. Like this low, you will try to forget. We're not talking about sniper entry. Don't worry, when we get to that point. First of all, learn how to take your normal trade, and then we'll talk about sniper entry. And this one, that's because we are not refining to 1 minute time frame. That's why we're not talking about to 15 minutes and all that. That's why we're not talking about sniper entry. So if you took the trade, you would have placed it below here, or at least below here. All right. This is the first point. For double confirmation, you could take it at the second point, and if you take it at the second point, which would be a better trade entry, but how would you know that this is going to happen? Except you patiently waited. There is no way to know going to happen. But you shall know that intersection always play out. All you need to do is to look out for, to put a very good stop loss. All right. Remember, I'm talking about sniper entry. We're not in 1 minute time frame to take the trade. All right. All right. So this will be your trade entry. This was already 475 pips. All right, reading from that point. Remember, we're not talking about sniper entry. And if you take it, the second point, of course, like we said, we are not making an assumption based on what you are seeing, because we have seen it happen. We're making an assumption. This is what we have seen. This bullish engulfing 3 candles, or about 3 candles. Okay, engulfing 2 candles and half of the third one. All right, good enough. All right. So this is what we are seeing for now. So that is where you should have been taking it. We're talking about realistically. It is when you study what is happening on the chart, most of the time you want to pay attention, because mostly I used to say, there are some video I've made, I say that when you see a big candle in your entry trigger, you may need to be more patient, that market might come back to eat either half of it or even swallow it, creating like um uh, double bottom or something like that, or just come a little way and then create an entry trigger again. Maybe you may have come across some of the video in the past where I discuss things like that, and we'll still discuss things like that in the future. When the candle is too big, you can wait a little. Or if you don't want to miss out the trade at all, just in case it doesn't come back, because sometimes it will not come back, you can take it and set proper stop loss. That means that you don't mind the stop loss. You just want to take the trade after all. If you win, that's all you want, and all that. Some of the things that can happen. All right. So I would have taken the trade. That's what you'll be telling me at this point. All right. Now we are talking about what are the points of TP, because I would love to see that. Of course, some of you told me that because there is a breakout of this thing, you will be waiting for it to come to the starting point, which obviously will be like here now, the starting point, which obviously will be like around this zone. All right, to come to the starting point. But here's the thing, guys. You don't set one. But that's why I love. Who was that? I can't remember your name now. I'm trying to remember your name. That was telling me TP1, TP2, and all that, and I love that because that's a very fine way to approach it. All right, simply what he did. I can't remember. Is it? I don't think it's Mr. B. This. Is it Mr. B? I can't remember. Or this guy from Lagos. Is he Abdul? Moses Abdul? I can't remember now. Sorry, guy. I cannot remember your name. But when you are watching this, you remember it's you I'm trying to talk about. Actually. All right. Now, the first TP point, you see this zone of consolidation. Look at this zone of consolidation. All right. Your first TP, the first point you'll be taking your trade can be here. All right. This area of consolidation, either the resistance or the support zone. That's the best place for you to be taking your TP. Then wait for the market to give you to give you another opportunity for you to actually for another trade if you want. Because if you do that, what we'll be having here for the support zone, this is 863 pips, 863 pips. We take it to eventually support zone you hit. So this is the first point, and here we are having 1,452 pips, 1,452 pips. That's what you're having for this particular point of hitting the resistance zone for the support side of the TP. All right. So now after here, the next point you'll be looking at will be this point. All right. Why? Okay, let me come to this point. You see this support, this area of consolidation here, this zone of consolidation, you can see it was giving you like a flip zone, previous support, and here is functioning as resistance. Are you seeing it? So the same thing for the same thing is happening here when we are talking about the resistance, the other side of it that is like the resistance zone. All right, the other side of it that is like the resistance zone. You see, it was previous support and currently functioning as current resistance around this zone. So you see these flip zones are, help you not to make mistakes. Just because you are looking to go to the extreme end after the trade has started moving does not mean you foolishly do that. All right. This market can decide to reverse back, even almost come back here, and before it continue going. These are going back to the top. All right. So take your profit at the obvious zones. All right. You see these points, they are very, very obvious. So another point of TP will be here. This particular point here, you see, is as resistant here, and here as a support zone here. You see that before we talk about the final one here, probably hitting here. All right. Why are you taking your TPs in this manner and probably taking new trades depending on what the market is? For instance, now, if the market came back here, just like this guy described, sorry, I can't remember your name. You described it when I was watching that video initially that time. I was so impressed with that video. All right. You said you want to take your TP here, and this place has not even actually hit TP that time. Yeah, it has not. That time said that the market has not reached here. You said that the market, you take your TP1 here, and the market comes down, then you take another trade. All right. I think whether it's here or here, you put your TP2 or thereabout. So that is fine analysis. You are just learning, and it's good because when you analyze like that, all right, that means you are on the right track. You can't be perfect now, but you shall see that you are making progress. All right, with time, you get grounded properly, and then you know exactly, you'll be exactly 100% on point. So two of you that did well, I didn't say you are 100% on point, but you are very, very impressive because you are the ones that only were able to actually analyze what resemble what I talked about here. All right, so I'll repeat what I wanted you to analyze for me. That I came to the market, I will wait for these 2 points. After I take these 2 points to pinch them as my point of trend line, my trend line points. All right, so I'll be waiting for all these. If I'm looking for intersection, I'm waiting. Why? Because each time there is intersection and it hits the intersection, every breakout and retest continue flowing down. All right. All right. So I'll be waiting to either break. Retest of the trend line at the intersection and reversal. The market will keep going down. That's what I want to see. The same thing after breakout. I'll possibly be waiting for area of retest that's going to be intersection of the zone. Gone. All right. And all that. So where the market is now is where anybody who is selling the market would have been taking their profits. Don't need to. So you are going to wait for the market to either show you that you want to still keep moving up or it's going to keep moving down. And that's kind of see pattern that is going to help you to do that. But there is another thing, another explanation to it I wanted you guys to show me. Because when you are describing this market, you take this, if you take the trade here, that's as if futuristic. You describe it as if you met the market when the market did only these two highs. So let me talk about the next thing before I talk about another thing. I want to. When you are look at the chart, you must cover all ground, cover all bases. All right. Now, because most likely you are going to see only these 2 points to connect, but immediately you connect, remember it took after he did this high and show a reversal, candlestick reversal pattern here, which is this bearish engulfing at this point. So let me remove this so that everyone can see it. Remember, you're watching from YouTube. You can zoom it, zoom the video to even see it. So when this happened, you already created a high. You are supposed to be on top of the market to know when this happened. Immediately you take this as trend line, extend it. You see, after extending it, this point would have been another point you'll be watching out for. So you should have been watching out for here. Except you come and met here that already happened. But futuristically, you are telling me what you should be doing because it is this first point and this second point that you need for the trend line. Abi, and that is it. So assuming you have drawn it now, and you just saw the market go down. It came back. Did you see? It's hitting the intersection. You see, it's hitting the intersection again. Did you see that? After hitting intersection, what do? You remember what happens. You begin to expect the market to go down. All right. So now you should be able to tell me where the market will be going down to. And remember, anytime there is a breakout and retest, just like here, look at the second point, the breakout and retest, the market. You see, it was a student who submitted assignment on this. So you see, these things they always work. You just need to study and master. So that point I marked and just deleted now, that is a breakout and retest candlestick pattern, what the market keep doing, it kept going down. But the point is that I expected you guys to tell me, where would you think that this market will be terminating after that point of intersection that he hit, after you just draw the trend line and he came back and hit point of intersection? Where will you be marking out? This one thing you need to know, because it's not just that you'll be flying and flying and flying. This is important because let me show you. You see, around this point, you'll be seeing, you see, it's important because you need to know the reason why the market did not get here now. This point, why the market did not get to this point. All right. Why the market did not get to. Market did not get to this point, at least right now. All right. Where were you supposed to be taking your profit? What is the right place for you to take your profit? Now, the right place for you to take your profit is here. This is the right place for you to take your profit. Why is that? Pay attention, guys. Why is that the right place for you to take your profit? So let's come on to explain it. Come on. Let's try to explain this. I think I should just do this. All right. Now, this is where the trend line started. All right. Now, this is the highest high before the trend line, and this is the lowest high before the trend line. All right. So it is at the low that was created that brought up this point. All right, to the point before the trend line. Sorry, guys. That you are going to be targeting as your TP. So you can see that happened to be here. This is the leg that actually brought up what later created the high of the trend line. All right, the trend line. So what it means is that the trend line is doing a low, is actually doing a low, sharing a low that was used to create the trend line, the low that is lower than the high before it. All right. So it means that this low is telling you, since it's lower than this high, I mean this high, sorry, this high here, this high. Let me mark it properly. This is joining together with this point and this point. This is more like, we're not talking about chart pattern. I don't want to measure this. All right. Okay. Let's say this is a place of equal high. This low is creating equal high. It's actually equal high actually, because this is the wick here. It's actually equal high, meaning that this our high can actually be taken like this. Equal high. So they're creating, that's double top, creating double top, and then we begin to find low. So it is the low of that started the double top that you are going to be waiting as your final TP, and this is the low that started the double top. Do you get the low that started the double top? That is where you are waiting for your final TP. We are not saying the market cannot go below it. The market can go below it, but we are saying that you want to take a trade that you will not lose. How to know to take a trade that you will not lose is the key to 100% win rate. How you can know how to take a trade that you will not lose, that is the key to a 100% win rate, guys. Do you get it? So you don't do it by guesswork. You do it by studying the chart and understanding the chart. So I've just explained that part now. The reason why. The part of the trend line had an equal high, all right, with another high, creating double top. What is the leg that created that started the double top? This is the leg, the low that started the double top. All right. So that's the reason why this place becomes the best place for you to take as your final TP, not initial TP. You can be taking TP from time to time. I want to change, let me change it to another color. Let me change that to another color. All right, so that it will stand out. No, it doesn't stand out. Let me change it to, okay, I think I should change it to green. We have much green here. So that is the point of final T. That should be your point of final T. So let's compare it with. So you can see the market, this green line is supposed to be the final TP. That is immediately after the intersection point. But you see, it passed it by a wide margin to this point. So that's what we're talking about. It is not about where the market traveled to at the end, but what will help you to take a trade that you will not lose. So you will do that by, for certainty, knowing exactly what to do. And that is the reason why we are talking about the leg that created that double top, that bring in the trend line, that part of the trend line side. That is exactly the point that should be our point of final TP. And you see, the market beat it and come down a little bit, which is coincide with some support and resistance that you should have had before. The fact that it coincides with this point does not mean that that's it, because that is not the one that, this is a part of another trend line. For instance, let me show you guys. So guys, you see there is, this is even a part of, just in this right now. Now it made sense. Let's say we have a trend line like this. This trend line like this. All right. So we have a trend line like this. We are going to be saying that this is another. What I want to say here, because we are not analyzing and talking about that trend line, is that this is actually a part of another trend line. Okay, a part of another trend line. Let me see this. I swear, putting these two together, a part of another trend line. Part of another trend line. All right, another zone of another trend line, so to say. All right, so it does not belong to the zone of this current trend line. That's just the fact I want to establish. I'm just trying those trend line to see for myself. That's not what I'm teaching you right now. Okay, guys, this is how to fully interpret it. All right, so your interpretation, although I say you should focus only on the zone where the trade. All right, but this is the full interpretation as well, talking about this intersection. After you hit this intersection, where to take your profit. All right, where to take your profit. Not necessarily here at the terminating, here it terminated. There is no concrete guides to show you that you should have waited for the market to hit here before you take your TP. It will just be you basing that on your goals, or probably the work you have done in the past, because you have an area of support and resistance, but not within the frame, the frame of the trend that I'm talking about. See what I'm talking about here? We're having here, taking here as resistance. Of course, it functions on previous support. So that is that last line where the market touched at the end, which is here. All right. That's just, except you have seen the market play out, there is no way you have predicted in advance that the market should get there as your TP. I mean, correctly, without using sentiment or using hope or luck. So the best place is here, and I've explained to you the reason why it is here. So I'm sure we have done justice to this. I'm sure with this, you should be able to understand this properly. Any other question you might have, we would like to clarify that.